forward is that if he's able to crush another key, you know, there's a difference between the players and like how long they hold down the button. I just want to see Astro make continued eye contact with the camera and hold it down until it's like, whoa, whoa, the press wasn't made for this. But Hunter, finally the fill is over. We're into it.
Looks like we're ready to get into the action, and it appears that we do need to switch the teams around up top, as the Gatos Guapos do not have KSA on their roster, but Punky on the Ramatra, KSA on the Malga. Not sure if this is a real commitment for them, because KSA, more known, there it is for the Ramatra, but no surprises here from Twisted Minds. Ram Sim, their bread and butter, ZP.
That's an unfair jump scare from KSA. Like, we've been mostly Maga free over the course of the tournament. Like, you don't need to do that.
We've got a nice slow neutral taking place here at the start. You can see an early form timing for both Ramatras as they just scrap it out. Nobody really losing any health, but a first line for Aki.
Yeah, I mean, Quartz was able to get to the side, got plenty of clearance, and immediately finds two on the Cassidy, and that is the one thing that you can't have happen. And we saw it to a lesser degree with the ZK game, where Love was able to find room on the Cassidy and looked really good. Well, Quartz is like danger factor 11 if Love was danger factor 5. It is just a completely different level of punish if you give Quartz that level of space.
Exactly right. If you were being punished by ZK, you will be punished 100-fold by Quartz. You can see right now, Color Hex is over on the Venture, trying to shut down Yubi, trying to shut down these teleporter plays a little bit. And Young is actually hooning the way towards a bowler shot, but already Twisted Minds, they're doing so much damage in the choke.
Yeah, I mean, Punk right now able to walk a little bit forward for the Guapos. They get rid of the Immortality Field, but overall, okay, Yubi gets caught. Early pick here coming in from the Guapos, and the problem is, as you look at it, the trade-out still happened. It's not 100% clean, and it's still in control by Twisted Minds.
Rack Attack getting a little bit too excited, goes flying into Quartz's face. KSA is so incredibly low. You can see they're looking for the finish, and they will secure it. This should be the cap for the Gatos Guapos here.
Yeah, very, very close. We'll see how much Twisted Minds wants to go in. I mean, Yubi's able to get the pick. There's a chance here. Just when you think you have the cap, well, guess what? The contest is happening. Quartz comes in, somehow gets a little bit of Deadeye value, and just like that, so close yet so far, still perfect here for Twisted Minds.
Somebody has got to stop Quartz. This man is killing everybody right now. You can see him hiding inside. Uncontestable Rack Attack comes flying off the top ropes, trying to take him down, and just gets ripped right off the wall. Clean shots non-stop from Quartz. 70% and counting for Twisted Minds right now, and the ult bank for the side of the Gatos Guapos, it's a little bit slow. They need to play slow and charge these up before they go in, ZP.
Yeah, I mean, with how aggressive Astro plays, I just see them immediately going in on Engage. I mean, there's a world where you can wait a little bit back, now that you both have beat, but you know, if you're Twisted Minds, you just need one more good fight here. But here we go. Window out here from the Guapos, looking for a little bit of anything, and meanwhile, Twisted Minds, they just disengage.
It's a clean disengage right now from the side of Twisted. That's 2, 3 ultimates coming out. 4 for the side of the Gatos Guapos, and they're not getting any kills, ZP.
Yeah, meanwhile, I mean, Twisted Minds also dumping their ult bank, but getting far more. Quartz, again, room to work with. And if you don't do something about this Cassidy, you're simply not going to win the game.
It's such a difficult ask for the Gatos Guapos here. I mean, I said it rolling into the match that Quartz is a force to be reckoned with. He is a terrifying hit scan player, truly top class, and for the Gatos Guapos, they will not be used to playing against an opponent of this caliber. This is somebody who, even with Overwatch League experienced players on their roster, Punk, Color Hex, both people who have played in Tier 1, even they may not have had much experience practicing against hit scans of this level, ZP.
Yeah, I mean, you had players that hit those heights in the past, but the thing about Quartz, even comparing to like some of the greats at their peak in older Overwatch history, Quartz is just ridiculously consistent in a way that few players are. And I almost feel like, as good as this Cass is, for what we've seen in the meta, this is even Quartz's final form. I mean, you see Quartz on the Sojourn right now, it's just like kind of ridiculous.
Exactly right. Now we've got ourselves a nice little neutral here in the white room, but already Yubi has bullied the Gatos Guapos back. Color Hex is looking for an angle to try and displace this Symmetra again, but Yubi's very safe here in the corner. Color Hex actually looking to camp the exit of the teleporter right now, not actually engaging though.
Yeah, right now, Twisted Minds more than happy to just have a bit of positioning here on the point. Simple, bit under pressure. Gatos Guapos working the outskirts here. Color Hex diving in, seizing the opportunity. See if the opportunity is actually there. Goes for a few shots on Lucio. Not quite able to find it. Funny Astro just slips away. And while this is going on, Punk just gets focused down and down to take this early. You're not going to be able to contest on the point.
You can see so many resources from the Gatos Guapos are going into trying to stop Yubi from playing his game. Everywhere Yubi goes, he's being marked by a Lucio, by a Venture, But if you put all of your resources into Yubi and Quartz is not playing off the teleporter, if he's just using his legs to flank, unfortunately Quartz is going to claim far too many scalps. That's what's so good about Twisted Minds' comp. There's so many problems that need to be solved in the moment. It is overwhelming. And you can see the Gatos Guapos really struggling with that. Now we're sitting in the room again and a fast push coming out from the Gatos.
Gatos trying to make anything happen here. The problem is they're going to be running into a buzzsaw. Twisted Minds about to have all sorts of ults online. Gatos pretty far away with the exception of window. They're going to drop the window, but you know the angle that's at right here, okay, it's actually good enough to KSA. KSA challenges it. Funny Astro gets caught on the side, but Quartz with the Deadeye takes down Color Hex. Still 8th threat.
Quartz.
It doesn't matter if people are down. Quartz says, I will be the team.
No way. He's good for 3. He will not find a 4th, but the Gatos Guapos, their push has been cut short. Now they are being bullied off the point. Punk just holding up his hands, trying to get the last few points of percentage, and this is a disastrous scenario for them. You can see Punk in a lot of trouble, but most of the Gatos are actually back.
Yeah, the Gatos are back, but KSA also good to go. You get the wall up here with the Annihilation. Right now, forcing Gatos Guapos back, trying to create more room here for Quartz yet again. Funny Astro, though, getting really, really low. Just barely able to survive. So Twisted Minds trying to back up, do a little bit of healing of their own. And meanwhile, you have to think Quartz is repositioning right now. You see his ult charge going up, and he gets Color Hex. Yeah, you just see the ult charge like up, 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 and Color Hex is dead.
Already an opportunity for Twisted Minds to twist the knife here as they push deeper into the White Room. Lamp forced out of the Gatos Guapos, and you can see now the collapse. Everybody for the Guapos falling by the wayside. There is only one fight left, CP, and they're actually staggering Punk. The speedster, Funny Astro, actually going to get himself picked 1 versus 5. Classic Daniel, but the Gatos Guapos, one last shot.
That hasn't changed. Every now and then it's just like, aggro Lucio play from ladder. Yeah, I'm gonna bring it. Oh God! Oh man, the wall into the Deadeye. Quartz fighting all sorts of way to make this Cassidy unreal.
So easy for Twisted Minds. They're 14% on the clock for the Gatos Guapos, and in that fight, a 3 versus 5, Quartz just wills himself to victory, pushes the flank, hits every single shot. That was a dominant map 1 performance from Twisted Minds, a concerning outlook for the remainder of the series if you're the Gatos Guapos.
I think the scary part about Quartz is that he kind of is the total package in the sense that there's some players, obviously, as you know from doing coaching, where, wow, you got great aim, but where is the brain? Half the kills that Quartz was able to get there were also coming from really good positioning. I mean, case in point, if you want to get any value off Deadeye, you actually have to read the tea leaves and be in the right place at the right time, generally speaking, let alone what just happened at the end.
It's incredibly difficult to be a good hit scan player if all you rely on is your aim. Many hit scan players have incredible aim, but there's a select few that have the intersect of this positional knowledge, this positional understanding with top tier mechanics. Quartz is one of those players. He's somebody who understands timing, understands positioning, and of course, above all else, understands how to point his mouse so that everybody dies to a headshot.
We don't have an enormous amount of highlights because it went by so quickly, lads. It went by so fast. I mean, I think you're right. Quartz was just popping off as per usual, but it seems as well that there was an answer for everything. Their strategizing was perfect. I mean, they didn't let anyone get close to them, courtesy of Gatos Guapos, and I think it maybe sets a tone for the rest of this series.
Very much so. I think the Gatos Guapos, they need to change approach again. I said this yesterday in these heavily underdog-heavy matchups, where it's essentially crucial that they play something completely different. Right now, we see Color Hex on the venture, trying to counter out the Symmetra a little bit, but the truth of it is, they have so much practice against this character. This is not the first time the Twisted Minds have versed a venture. The Gatos Guapos need to play something completely different and shake it up. Bring Light back in out on Doomfist. Change the game.
The problem is they can change things up, and maybe they do things like you could go in and ban the Cassidy. The issue is that when it comes to dealing with someone like Quartz, you actually can't ban him out. He has multiple options that he's going to be able to go on. And for example, let's say you ban the Cass. Guess what? It's going to be Sojourn coming on in. So it's really difficult to kind of deal with this, where even if you go off meta, even if you try and target some of the strengths that you have here for Twisted Minds, they're going to have options on top of it. So it's just a tough road right now for Gatos.
Yeah. As a coach as well here, let's say you put yourself in the position of the Gatos Guapos' coach. You know you've got to kind of inspire them and give them these instructions to kind of ultimately say, look, you need to do something different or kind of play something that will surprise them. How are you kind of motivating them right now? What's the way in which you would do this?
Well, frankly, there's a reasonable chance that I might actually be the Gatos Guapos coach because they don't have anybody coaching them. It is just 6 players and their manager standing there backstage.
So you just disappear, we'll know exactly what he's doing.
Well, I think I stood in their huddle before the game and gave them a good little pat on the back. Yeah, good luck, fellas, before the match actually started, because there's not a lot that you can really do other than say, fellas, look out in the crowd, look at your mother's eyes. Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, more than that, I feel like it'd be more basic. Hey, guys, shoot better. Like, what are we doing? Like, and not in a serious way, because it's not a team that's really structured in that way where you have the coach come in and be like, here's the battle plan, guys. Here's what we're going to do. It's going to be like, oi, what's going on here? Like, actually just do better. Like, come on, guys.
I very much think it's a case of, there's one plan for map 1. There should be another plan for map 2. There should be another plan for map 3. You finish map 1, yeah, all right, that one didn't work, let's move on to the next. And just keep getting more ridiculous the deeper into the series you go. Because if you keep playing these standards, you can see the writing's on the wall. You are doomed. So they really do need to change it up a little bit, change it in their roster, maybe get Light involved, maybe get Light playing a different role, anything to change the game a little bit.
In my mind, the plan is just like very simple and written in crayon. Where it's like, we're not going to go too deep.
Well, you can see why my team didn't qualify for the tournament.
When it comes down to the nature of which Twisted Minds, obviously 1-0 up now in the series here. They're gonna have a bit of wind in their sails. They're gonna feel like they're confident now. But could there be an element of overconfidence, if you will? Like, if they start being a lot more aggressive, looking ahead to that kind of matchup later on, that kind of sign rematch. Do you think that's something that they could be capable of doing here, being overly aggressive and it costing them?
I'd be surprised if over-aggression actually punished Twisted Minds in this case. I think they're so good at playing fast, and if they start to feel themselves, feel confident, I think it'll only make things harder for the Guapos, in all honesty. We saw a little bit in that ZK matchup earlier where they did over-aggress and they were punished for it, but I think the Twisted Minds are a little bit of a different beast when it comes to high-tempo play. They're not so much about the slow and the methodical. This is a team where when they're playing at their best, it's because they are overwhelmingly quick. Because Quartz is behind you, Yubi is beside you, Funny Astro is skating about on a wall, having a laugh, and that's all it takes to overwhelm you.
Also, I mean, based on what we saw in the last game, I mean, the idea of overconfidence, when you're playing that well, you actually, no, there's no such thing as overconfidence. Like, the well is so high that you have infinite confidence storage at that point because you did everything well. There's nothing in there. It's like, Quartz isn't suddenly going to start, like, going in the spawn and, just shooting people point blank. Like, he's not going to do that. He's still going to play really good, consistent gameplays. So, yeah, I mean, right now, Gatos, they're in real trouble.
If we look ahead to the rest of the competition here, we're just waiting right now for our teams to be ready for this next map, which should be any second now. We look ahead to the rest of the competition here as well. Obviously, we're making our way towards finals weekend, and you can see our players here ready and raring to go. With finals weekend upon us, dare I ask kind of the teams that are most likely to be in the last 4, say? Have we kind of seen that already, kind of a separation of who is clearly favourites? So we saw Crazy Raccoons yesterday, T1 playing impressively, but is there kind of a clear few that might be there?
I think there's a very safe answer to this in that there are 3 Korean teams that do feel like they're just a bit head and shoulders above the rest right now. Team Falcons, Crazy Raccoon, T1 in no particular order. They've all had very strong showings. T1 actually the only Korean team to have a solid 3-0 to qualify through to the single elimination bracket. But ultimately these 3 teams all looking incredibly solid. Then we had Alcad and we had GK going really close with one another. Team Liquid as well. I think any of these teams could be contending for that 4th slot.
Yeah, I mean, I think you go by the numbers. The odds that one of the top 3 Korean teams wins is incredibly likely. However, I don't think they're so far ahead of the pack from what we've seen so far that 1 or 2 of them may get upset by some of the other teams here. Like, it is not that big of a gap. But if you go by the odds of just how good all those 3 teams are and where on paper they're a bit ahead, I think it is probably going to be one of those 3 teams, but it will be a bumpy road with a lot of surprises.
I very much feel that with single elimination, it's so easy to have these upsets. We saw some very close matches qualifying through to the single elim bracket, and even we're trying to predict a top 4 right now, but that is so fallible because we've seen all of these teams can play incredibly close with one another. All it takes is one bad day, one bad moment. You don't get any second chances from this point forward. Once you're in the top 8, it's do or die.
Certainly right here. You can see Watch Point Gibraltar has been chosen as our next map here in this best of 5 here. ZP, is it advantageous one of our teams better than the other?
I mean, I think for Gatos, I mean, Gibraltar is still a map that has a little bit more variability, especially if you mess up the interchange between first point and second. So, I mean, there is a world where teams can beef on here. We saw that yesterday in some of our matches. So, I don't hate it. I will say, though, in general, Hunter, it's kind of funny how when you look at the scrim meta, the teams have really only been scoring 2 maps in this game type, and we don't see Shambali a whole lot right now in this tournament. It's like a lot of Circuit and a little bit of Gibraltar.
I was expecting to see lots of Shambali. I thought lots of teams wanted to play the Ramatra, play the Orisa, but apparently I had a completely incorrect read on that. We've seen it, what, once, all of the B stream here. Over on Gibraltar, I think I saw Hazard and Ana bands there. Yeah, Twisted Minds with an Ana band and a Hazard band coming out from the Gatos Guapos. This is a bit interesting, to be honest. I don't think Twisted Minds really play the Hazard.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird. I mean, you think about KSA is going to play. I don't think they needed to do that here. I mean, we may get a little bit of insight in regards to like the comp Gatos wants to come out here in a moment, and oh boy. No. We've had so much
Don't take the bait. Don't take the bait.
Yeah, no. I mean, look, they're not coming out here yet, but I just want to say, Punk, we've had a lot of good, clean Overwatch right now. You know, honestly, fair, you know, nothing dirty, and no. I don't like the shadow pick at all.
I would be so happy for us to get dirty here on the broadcast right now, ZP. We've had enough standards, enough basic play. Let's get absolutely filthy here on Watchpoint Gibraltar, why don't we?
I love how this is all like we're talking about Maga. It's just like, this is just the perception. I was like, oh yeah, it's time for a little bit dishonest Overwatch. Bring out Maga.
We've just had enough honesty for one day, don't you think? Oh, Punk hovering the fist now, but no, over to the Diva. Gatos Guapos, they're playing to their strengths here a little bit. Punk famously good at Diva, perhaps his best character overall. Aki, a formidable BAP. Not sure how I feel about the Rack Attack Mercy, though.
Well, you don't have to feel anything at all because it is back in spawn is where that's at. And yeah, I mean, for Punk, I mean, Punk is a player that was famously on Diva jail for seasons at a time. So yeah, Punk pretty good at Diva.
Down goes the Speedster, would you believe? You could set your watch to it. Quartz cleaning house, you could also set your watch to that at a much faster pace. As the Gatos Guapos, they are being camped in spawn. No funny Astro right now for Twisted Minds. The good thing about being a Lucio player is you are back fast.
Quartz has been ridiculous even on this first point. Gatos looking for a way out, of course doing quick changes. Rack Attack off over onto the Brig.
Over to the Brigitte now, which is something that Rack is perhaps his signature character in a lot of ways. And Young's actually going to find an opening pick onto Yubi. Yubi's having a real rough time versus the Gatos, even if the remainder of his team is not.
You know, the ridiculous thing with watching TM is that for most teams they lose one, you're like, okay, you kind of have to disengage a little bit. When TM loses one, I'm just like, but does Quartz immediately equalize? Like, it actually changes your expectation of events when watching Quartz here. As Quartz goes over, nearly gets back on the flick on the color hack, and then still gets dang. That's just ridiculous.
Somebody stop him. He does kind of look unstoppable, I'm afraid, as he takes down 2. Once again, no Yubi, no problem. Quartz is good for another. I'm sure he's good for the cleanup kills here too. Yep, there it is. And Twisted Minds holding very strong here on first point. 2.5 minutes remain on the clock. We've already lost 1.5. The Gatos, they're coming in on a little bit of an old swing now. Aki's going to have that window. Nyang with the bowler shot. But these are 2 ultimates that are very heavily counted out by a Diva. And KSA on the Diva, we've seen he's been eating everything right now. He's a very hungry man.
You know, I have a dear friend that does videos on Aim Train and like looking into the mechanics of pros. I feel like I need to link him up with Quartz and just be like, how does Quartz work? Because Quartz's level of consistency is elite among elites, even though he's just got taken out by Nyang.
It does appear that somehow, some way, Nyang has made it work, and no ultimates actually required other than Aki's window for the Guapos, as they're just going to come in here and clean house in the first fight. This retake here for Twisted Minds, they have all the necessary tools, is the issue here for the Gatos. Simwall, fantastic for a retake. Beat drop, fantastic as well. Color Hex going deep, going for an early pulse bomb, doesn't connect. You can already see Yubi's torqued.
Yeah, Mimon Nyang gonna drop over and in here at the bull shot, takes down Quartz. The threat is over. Very winnable fight now for Gatos Guapos at this key first to second interchange, but simple. Off to the side, able to find Rack Attack. The wall from Yubi creating a little bit of opportunity, even as Nyang is trying so hard to try and keep this winnable right now for Guapos. But here's the problem. If they don't finish this off soon, Quartz is going to be walking through that door.
Nyang has such a good angle right now to keep juicing damage. You can see Punk, he's thrown the bomb out, but Nyang is the one to fall. Quartz again with another crucial pick. 50 seconds remains, EP.
You had a timer there. You got the early pick on the Quartz. It's like tick-tock, tick-tock, he's back. And time ran out. 45 seconds here left on first as the Guapos try and keep the series in contest Twisted Minds, though, having none of it.
None of it at all. Twisted Minds, they've only got Quartz's High Noon to play with. Young has been rock solid with these bowler shots. Aki is also threatening a window, but look at Quartz. He's got an angle in the server room. He's got a TP to bounce him back and forward if he chooses to pull out that High Noon. There are solutions here for Twisted Minds, and Punk is taking a beating.
Punk right now having to back up a bit, but with 20 seconds left, time is running low. And we're taking a look at Nang right now, but I do wonder, where is Quartz on the setup? Has the Deadeye, and I mean, this is where positioning-wise, you could just wait, drop the Deadeye, and it's going to force all sorts of movement and maybe pick up in a limb. But you take a look, forces advantageous movement, using the teleport back and forth. Niang right now up on the top, going to drop the ball and takes down Quartz.
Start the timer, ZP. Quartz is down.
Yeah, this is exactly what they're needing for. The opportunity now for Gatos, up and over. Kitsune is used. KSA, though, was able to take down Punk. Surely Twisted Minds can't delay here. It's only Yubi and KSA that are left. And KSA, finally, gonna go down 1.73 meters, and finally we're into second.
We're witnessing a Freya masterclass right here from Young. This is an outside shot of a player if ever I've seen one. When I played Overwatch in 2019, I teamed with Young. This is a man who has been around the block, and now he's showing up and taking it to Quartz. I'm very thankful that Color Hex is on Tracer rather than Hitscan, otherwise I might be shaving my head after all. Fortunately, I've been saved by their draft.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can find a way to like work that in and shaving the head. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be here, but eventually we'll get it. But here we go, Yubi in on the teleport. Back the other way as Twisted Minds looks to re-secure, and this first fight on second, always so important that you don't fall behind. Quartz, though, Beat gonna come down, looking up and over. Gets a little bit stuffed up by the break. Force in danger as Color Hex, the bomb gets two.
Color Hex good for 2 with the Pulse Bomb. Cleanup kills galore as well. And Twisted Minds, they invested their beat into this one. Gatos Guapos, they're in a fantastic position to keep the ball rolling here. Punk's got the bomb. He can hold up very aggressively on the high ground. Young and Aki both 90% on their own ultimates, the window and the bowler shot. Already KSA has used a lot of his defense matrix just to walk through the choke. Twisted, they've TP'd up top, but the Gatos, they've still got this opportunity, ZP.
I think it's a decent recontest here so far by TM just to get back over and onto the point. Better than perhaps they should have gone. Gatos Guapos. Meanwhile, we'll see how they play it. Niang again finds Yubi, takes down Quartz after. You talk about Freya not being played as much. Don't tell that to Niang, who is putting on a masterclass.
Good for 3. Might as well give him the remainder as well. That passive needs feeding. And the Gatos Guapos, they're over to the 3rd point versus Twisted Minds right now. You can hear the crowd of 3 mothers going absolutely wild right now. The Gatos Guapos, this is an unprecedented result here. They were just a lick away from being full held. And now they're on 3rd with 2 minutes to spare. Looking over to the ults. The ball might stop rolling here a little bit. They are actually dry on their ultis, and Yubi does have that symbol. But Twisted Minds, they're losing momentum, ZP.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the risk when you go to Gibraltar, is that if you have a bad first to second point interchange, it can really end poorly for you. It happens to Twisted Minds, gives Gatos a way bigger chance here, but now the symbol is down. Quartz playing around it, and this engage, finally, a little bit of security here for Twisted Minds, but there's something have to play far back after this, Hunter.
Quite the gambit coming out from the Gatos Guapos in that fight. They recognized their old situation and they actually put Rack Attack on the Life Weaver. He wanted to try and grip somebody out of danger, but the problem is Twisted Minds, they can put their teleporter anywhere. Yubi is perked up at this point. He's got that 50-meter teleporter. Oh. Young's going to fall on the side. Again, set your watches, folks. Quartz got another kill. But again, the Gatos, they're now playing Life Weaver, which is a much more susceptible to dive character.
Yeah, I mean, the Life Weaver swap up here is interesting. It's one of those things where, given the fact that usually when we've seen Life Weaver here at the mid-season championship, it hasn't done well. So to me, there's just kind of a gut instinct of like, I don't know, just because it is associated with failures so far.
It's been quite difficult, but Rack Attack, he knows his way around the Weaver. And this is a safe position. He can play far back on the 3rd point. You can see the high ground already being maintained by Yubi, though. Ramform forced out early from Punk, and KSA, he wants to press that advantage. Look at Quartz on the high ground as well. Yeah. Just blocking both supports.
He hasn't left here, by the way. This terrain way more advantageous than the middle of second. Easier sight lines here for the Cassidy, and they just know there's a raid boss up at the window, and if you ignore him, you give him the greatest sight line ever, and oh man, just going down.
Oh
ridiculous.
No. Quartz is flanking again, DP.
And it works. He takes down the threat. Yang out of the fight early. Quartz finding his footing once more. The watch has been tuned.
He cannot keep getting away with it. He's holding that high ground for so long, ducks down to the mini for a quick refresher, and then he comes back in and kills the entirety of the Gatos Guapos squad. Last fight now, 70% to that annihilation for Punky, but who's even going to touch the cart?
Well, it won't be Lifeweaver because we've swapped off of it to the Lucio. Brack attack, let me see if they're able to get on over. KSA able to punish Color Hex with his first touch. Deadeye, so good for zoning in this sort of situation, and that is it. Still arguably winnable for Gatos. You're not guaranteed to get through second on Gibraltar, and they gave themselves an opportunity, but man, did they get stuffed at the very end.
A significantly more convincing showing than we saw on Control here from the Guapos. The change-up, playing a bit more diva, going to a more vertical map, not getting caught up in these ground tank brawls, looks to be a flavor that is working for them, but they need to close it out here on Gibraltar because they're running out of maps in the pool where they can exploit this plan. If they go down 0-2, it might be time for the light Doomfist Gambit on Flashpoint because the alternatives, they really start to run thin. There's only so much Punky can do on the diva, and Young, you said the death of Freya has been exaggerated because Young's playing it here. Ultimately, there's not many places you can actually play the Freya unless there's lots of high ground and lots of open space for you to fly away to.
I think the other problem here too is that was a ridiculous performance, but you look at what we've seen from the Guapos here so far, and generally speaking, Niang is not putting up that level of performance overall. For Quartz, I kind of just expect him to come out and just do Quartz stuff every single time. But for Niang, that just felt like a little bit of an outlier.
This is the truth of hitscan players, where once you reach this level, everybody can get a team kill. Everybody can have these flashy highlight moments. What really defines a top-tier hitscan at this level is the consistency with which they do it, more so than are they capable. We're seeing a bit of a switch up here, ZP?
I think Quartz, if anyone can make the early Widow shot work, it could be Quartz.
They're TPing him to the angle right now. He's peeking over on the side. Or is he staying back in spawn? I can't actually see it.
I think he stayed back in spawn. I may be wrong.
Cass.
But yeah, it's back to Cass. I mean, look, it's the rarity when you see the Widow get the first point shot, and a lot of Widows aren't going to do it. Quartz is probably one where I would have faith and be like, yeah, actually, he could make those.
When it comes to faith, I have all of it for Quartz. You can see Twisted Minds right now, they're just jockeying for a little bit of position, trying to push the cart underneath. Color Hex on the Tracer means that he will be able to contest the cart underneath quite a lot, and Twisted Minds, they're going to have to get bulk bodies underneath because KSA, that free cart push that he's securing right now, soon enough, Color Hex and Punk are going to start ping-ponging on the payload, unless, of course, Color Hex is exclusively looking for a dive, which he seems to be doing.
I don't love playing Tracer in the sense of, like, Color Hex's job here just seems ridiculously hard, where, like, you have to be careful as Tracer to begin with, and that's without a man that could just, like, snap tap you at a moment's notice. I mean, Color Hex has kind of entered the dark souls of playing Tracer in Overwatch 2 right now. We'll see if he makes it work, but it's going to be real difficult to get consistent pressure, I feel.
TP onto the high ground right now, already a good angle for Quartz. You can see Punk under so much pressure as Aki is forced to use the lamp, but Nyang!
Whoa, the Vola is good. It sets up Color Hex for the follow-through. And with the Freya setup, that's a lot of time that's going to get burned off the clock here for Twisted Minds. And again, you think about ways you could lose Gibraltar. You can get full held at first, or you can get stymied on second. So the fact that Gatos Guapos were able to get through second, I mean, this is very winnable.
Fantastic performance from Young. He must carry, and he is delivering right now. But
and he's gone.
The pace of this retake from Twisted, unprecedented.
The old caster curse there. It's like, this player's so good and so instrumental,
so
and
good.
They are absolutely back in spawn. Color Hex, meanwhile, getting hunted down. Quartz saying, look, enough, takes him down. I mean, doesn't quite hit at the end, but just needs to hit the left clicks.
Such a good Suzu from Simple there, keeping the carry alive. The Gatos Guapos, they've got one last shot to recontest this. They have Aki's window. Window comes out on the high ground. Punky's on the payload, but this clash is so difficult for the Guapos.
Yeah, I mean, Punk is a sacrifice here, and not a long-lived one at that. Who's going to be next up? It is a meat grinder here on the payload, but is one... I don't know if they have to enter, actually, because here's the problem. If you go in here and stagger and all die, your second point's going to be awful, and that may just be the case as they all die right at the gate of first.
There's a slim consolation prize here for the Gatos where the symbol has been taken out from Yubi. He did invest that ultimate, but it's not much of a consolation prize, more of a participation prize, really. As Twisted Minds, they get a stagger kill onto Rack Attack, and look at the ults right now. They've got the High Noon for Quartz, they've got the beat drop from Funny Astro, and Quartz in pole position atop the ship, already looking to hunt out Color Hex, force his cooldowns, force his position to something less valuable.
Quartz on top of the ship, has the Deadeye. Just good old left clicks, takes down the threat of Nyang. And you think about team fights that Gatos have won without major Freya contribution, it's it's probably about 0 right now, Hunter.
Look at the aggression on this push right now, ZP. We're on third point, despite the cart being in the middle of second. Quartz and KSA together, recognizing that they can just walk over the backline of the Gatos Guapos, and we haven't seen a single contest here on second point. Shades of the GK series versus Al-Qatsir yesterday. KSA now on the payload, just punching away.
We got a tree. We finally done it. We got a
nice.
tree. Color Hex, though, instantly down. Punk gets dropped the self-destruct, and he lived for now, but the fight very much going in favor of Twisted Minds. The tree amounts to just about nothing. And why are you peeking Quartz there? That is ridiculous.
Clean-up kills here from Quartz. Really do want to highlight Simple on that retake for the Gatos Guapos. Nyang flanks. Nyang hits the bowler shot and a bolt on Yubi. But Simple, such quick judgment, teleports over to Yubi, Suzu's him, cleanses everything, keeps his carry alive. Fantastic support play coming out from Simple right now. Gatos Guapos really staring down the barrel. They have one fight left. The cart is so incredibly close to the end, and they're down on ults.
They need Color Hex. Color Hex has to land the Pulse Bomb of Dreams, or they will get run over by the Suzu, or rather by the Kitsune Rush. Or it's the classic Cassidy spot, up over the top. Call it for 10 years, it's what it's been, and that is enough for Twisted Minds to go up 2-0 and put themselves on match point.
Yeah, that's already a 2-0 lead for Twisted. Some signs of life here on Watchpoint Gibraltar, but ultimately, when Twisted get to play their game, they were this close to a full hold. That was a dominant attack. They lost one fight, and then they just kept it rolling all the way through to the finish line. So they are looking, I don't want to say unbeatable. Last time somebody described Twisted Minds as unbeatable, they didn't win a match for a month straight, but they're looking pretty solid.
Also, Hunter, I have one problem here is that, like, we've seen Life Weaver get picked, and even in the time that Life Weaver gets a tree out, it is instantly taken down, and we don't even get the tree on screen. Life Weaver has been the most cursed hero when teams have tried to run it, at least for the games that we've personally casted.
Every time they pull out the Weaver, it does feel like despair is soon to follow. You have to respect them attempting to change the pace of things a little bit. Rakatak, he had some success in the support ult trades on the Brigida. Funny Astro would try and go for a beat push. Rakatak would be ready. The Sentinel with the shield rallying and bashing everybody who teleports in. But ultimately, you know, you have to respect him attempting to grip some people out on the Weaver, try and cheat the ult economy a little bit. Sadly, for the Gatos Guapos, their second point did not exist, so no value.
Fellas, question for you. Do we start a petition to have a star on the boulevard here in Riyadh for Quartz? Because that was a sublime performance. I mean, the aggression as well of dominating in that second point went so quickly. There was no contest at all. Due to like his just kind of consistent aggression.
I mean, given that Quartz is the hometown hero here for his contributions on Team Saudi Arabia and more, I mean, there's a non-zero chance that star already exists. We just don't know where it is.
Yeah, I think he might actually have a star somewhere here.
Really? We should find it. That's amazing.
Twisted Minds roster, they won the Overwatch World Cup in 2023. They are national heroes here in Saudi Arabia.
That's awesome. That's amazing. I mean, it was a really dominant display. I think, you know, as we all said, we came into this Twisted Minds. They were the favourites to a degree coming into this. But we knew. I mean, if Gatos Guapos didn't have some way of counteracting that aggression we talked about, it was going to be a struggle. And it really was. They just couldn't really find their feet, particularly in that kind of with the third point as well. There was just no way that they could cohesively come together and stop what was happening in front of them.
I mean, look, I'm just going to make stuff up, I mean, because the camera is on the players right now, but for all you know, right now Niang is just on the floor right now receiving back treatment after the attempted carry that we just saw from Gatos Guapos there, but it still wasn't enough.
You need a player like that in your team. Well, you need multiple players in that in your team when you're being pressed like that.
Young, I mean, he did so much, but you do need everybody firing on all cylinders in order to take down a team like Twisted Minds. Every couple of ult fights, Young would hit a game-winning bowler, but ultimately, there are game-winning counters on the other side. We saw it from Simple. Young, he hits a fantastic group bowler. Simple, he can cleanse that right off. So really the counterplay is there and you need more pressure. Color Hexy came through with a game-winning pulse bomb at one point, but again, there's so many problems to solve all the time versus a team like Twisted Minds. You really do need to play almost perfectly to beat them.
I think what we're going to see coming up next year is probably the time that the sim ban is going to be used. I mean, you've been dealing with UB on the sim in both maps here so far, so why not throw in the sim ban, see where it goes. Maybe you drop a Cassidy ban, and we'll see.
We'll see indeed here. Third map's coming away very shortly here, and I guess it is the last chance for Gatos Guapos to do something and try and turn the tide here, because it seems so strongly against them. How do they do that? I mean, is there a way in which they can find a way? I mean, you talked about the meta and changing kind of like heroes and such as well, but anything else they can do with themselves, or is it kind of a losing battle at this point?
I think change is the solution. We saw a big change up in the matchup on map 2. They changed map types, they changed tank, they changed style. I say change even further. Sub in Light. Bring Light in. Doesn't matter whether he plays DPS, support, or tank. I know he's good for all three. So sub him in on something, give him a shot to take a crack at Twisted Minds as well, because change is the name of the game here.
I mean, if they're going to sub in Light, what would probably happen is that they would bring us to a Flashpoint map, and then from there they would put Light on something like Doom, which did look really effective for them in the series they lost. And that's probably the main change-up that they still have left in the tank. Now, based on what we've seen from both teams, is that going to be enough to, break it open and give them a map? No, I do not believe so from what we've seen so far.
Do you think that obviously Sign await in the next round again? If Twisted Minds make it through, Sign will be their next opponent. They're probably watching this with with a lot of attention, trying to understand what's going to come their way next time round. Do you think Twisted Minds will have to completely switch things up if it goes that way? I'm being an optimist here that they're going to continue and do a 3-0. Do you think there'll be a big change here in the way in which Twisted Minds approach that later on potentially as well?
I very much think that's the case. I think Twisted Minds, this is one of the smartest teams at the tournament. They are so good at making adjustments, coming in with a different plan every single time. Yubi in particular, their Symmetra specialist, heralded as a genius of the game. He is so good at considering adjustments, and I think that they are going to be changing the game series upon series. Having lost to Sign yesterday means nothing about their performance today, because they will come at it with completely fresh eyes.
Also, we got about 80% of what I was saying here. They did ban Sim. They did bring us over in the Flashpoint, but I don't believe they've subbed in Light. Maybe we're going to get alerted about that in a moment. So we got, 2 out of 3.
I'm casting my eyes behind us, ZP, and I've got terrible news for us. For any of the light heads in the audience, he is continuing to sit behind the team, coaching them up. I mean, there's no coach that I'd rather have, to be honest. I think they've really upgraded on their coach this year. But Light will not be in the server for the third map, so apparently, for all of the marbles, the roster stays the same. Light stays out of the lineup.
Hunter, we should do a little bit of pro wrestling strategy here, where Light should actually get the steel chair and force his way into the match mid-map. We just do like a change, playback, takes out his own teammate, comes on in, swaps Doom.
I mean, I for one would love to see that. I would love to.
I thought that ZP was going to suggest I head back to the green room and throw on my spandex that I was showing you earlier.
We see here on the screen as well, we've got the Sim ban, but also Orisa. How does Orisa being banned affect things as well here, and what happens in map 3?
I think that the Orisa ban is a little bit of a non-issue, to be quite honest with you. Punky, he's happy to play the Diva, happy to play the Ramatra. He's by no means an Orisa specialist. Neither of these teams are super keen on actually playing the Orisa. I think the only impactful ban here is the fact that Sim has been taken out, is the fact that Yubi is going to have to play something other than Symmetra.
Well, this is you saw it on the screen there, match point in this second best of 5 in our day 2 here on the Overwatch 2 B stream. Will Gatos Guapos to fight back, or will Twisted Minds make it 3-0 and clean sweep their way into the next round of the bracket and eliminate Gatos Guapos and crush that key? We'll find out now as they prepare to attack.
Well, really, the strategy also holds firm. The only difference is that it's Punk playing the Doom rather than Light. But other than that, they did show this exact read yesterday, and they've gone back to the well. What could be one last time? And, come on, Punk. Come on.
One for the road here, as Punk is going to actually stick to the standards, walk out on the Ramatra. Color Hex not showing any nerve, no Junkrat, no Widowmakers on Flashpoint, nothing of the sort. Going to be playing something that is relatively standard, and we're going to have to see whether or not the Gatos Guapos can pull out something truly tremendous here. Tracer v Tracer, Yubi on the Tracer, Color Hex on the Tracer. Yubi, he's not a Symmetra one-trick. He's no chump on the Tracer. Neither is Color Hex, though, so we're going to have to see how this head-to-head goes on the side.
Yeah, I mean, on face value, I don't think that is as bad of a matchup for Color Hex as it would be against some of the other Tracers in the game. Doesn't mean that it's going to be bad, but also, you have to play Tracer, where you also have to deal with Quartz, which is a little bit unfair.
Quartz is quite an unfair opponent, as he does seem to diff everybody. Color Hex actually good for a kill onto Quartz. A rarity, as Twisted Minds are so good at protecting the President. But the Gatos Guapos, they are slow spawned. Punk and Quartz are respawning at the same time, which means that Quartz, he'll be back at the same timing as everybody else.
So the problem is, Color X got Quartz there, but then you do like the pan shot to the rest of the Guapos, and they're all like in medical beds with like broken arms. It's like, Oh, great, you got him. It's just like...
Somebody call the good doctor, because it does seem that the Gatos Guapos are in desperate need of medical attention. If only we knew somebody that could help us out in this situation.
There's a sponsor that we got for that, as it turns out. But either way, Quartz right now, plenty of room to work with. Gonna back up a bit around the corner, looking for opportunities. Color Hex also working around the backhand side. Niang on the Sojourn, didn't really talk about that. We'll see if Niang's able to make the Sojourn work the same way that the Freya's been working. And Color Hex right now, it's a long approach, while meanwhile Funny Astro just going in.
Beat push coming out from Funny Astro, and that is going to shatter the Gatos Guapos. Very difficult for them here, as they just couldn't deal with that tempo. You can see Rack Attack, he's only 70% to his own beat, so the Speedster's doing a lot more damage, a lot more healing. Funny Astro, he's charged it up so easily, and the Gatos Guapos, they're on their last contest. Is Color Hex even in position? No, he's not. That's a 1-0 lead. This is a key crush game, ZP. Your life is on the line, Guapos.
Yeah, I mean, that key right now is just kind of thinking about it. I was like, I'm admiring the days right now where I'm solid, firm, you know, feel really good, because let me tell you, the crushing, you could just feel it coming right now unless the Guapos turn things around. They're going to drop the window.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, we're looking at Quartz. Quartz with the Deadeye, turning back around, ends up falling. Aki able to find it, and Guapos, decent team fight here, should give them control.
Sign of life for them here, as they have an ult exchange. They have the window, the annihilation, the pulse bomb, and the overclock all thrown into it. And they will net a fight win for it. They are going to capture the objective. Twisted Minds, they're going to be back into this one very quickly indeed. You can see Young's actually going to find another pick onto Yubi. You can see when Yubi goes off the Symmetra over to the Tracer, more picks are delivered onto him. He does struggle a little bit more on this, but again, he's a very confident Tracer player. He's famous for his aggressive plays, hitting these incredible pulse bombs. Now you can see Punky holding forward, but a flank from Twisted.
Beat coming in here from Rack Attack. Doesn't hit Niang, who actually may be the victim here, but instead
there it is.
Takes out Yubi. No beat required. TM though, they have Quartz. They have hope. Quartz is taken out too. The great equalizer strikes again.
It is outrageous, the consistency with which Quartz gets these shots off. Again, no Yubi, no problem. Quartz just continues to swing on the flank, finds another couple of kills.
It's ridiculous, Hunter, because you look at OW stats or even just the eye test, as anyone that's watched AG.AL Overwatch, the number one thing that often decides if a fight is win or lost is first pick. And then you look at Twisted Minds and they defy reality, so long as the first pick isn't Quartz.
Twisted Minds are a statistical anomaly, because the only stat that matters is Quartz alive. You can see that Guapo's stuffed inside right now as KSA is getting very aggressive, and Yubi's on the flank. Color Hex is the first to open up with a kill though.
Yeah, Color Hex getting some work done, but so is Quartz in turn, and he's doing it again. He has decimated the support line. There's no more healing. It's over.
It's nonsense. Quartz is good for 3 here. He's dueling it out with Color Hex right now. Of course, he will win with the help of Funny Astro. You can see there's a 1 versus 2 taking place right now as Young slides up, can't get it done. And Twisted Minds, 73% and counting ZP. Ultimates to play with. Gatos Guapos have nothing. An annihilation around the corner, but a very staggered, very desperate touch coming in here on point C of Atlas.
About to be match point for Twisted Minds should they win this next fight. Gatos Guapos looking for anything to turn the tide. Color Hex having to rewind out super early under pressure. Here comes Quartz, Deadeye, and the zoning is ridiculous while KSA just disappears behind the corner, a little bit fisticuffs.
The Gatos, they're not even able to get a solid touch, a solid ping-pong contest. So now it's 0-2. This is match point. This is a key crush moment just around the corner. Yubi, he's hunting down Rack Attack. Nyang will be cleaned up as well. It's all falling to pieces for the Gatos. All to play for. A key on the line, ZP.
You can hear the hum of the hydraulic press because Gatos Guapos, their key is getting prepared as we speak. Twisted Minds about to have great positioning for what could be the final point for the Guapos here at EWC in the mid-season championship for Overwatch 2.
Punk does have an annihilation. You can see him getting very aggressive, looking for a backliner to push. Window from Aki, that's going to trigger his push. Beat push from Funny Astro in response though.
Right now, KSA able to take down Aki early. Twisted Minds is able to walk forward. The beat giving them all the durability they need and more. Simple, able to clean it up. And now you start looking at this in terms of fights left. The Guapos, they get maybe 3 more fights until they're just going to be enjoying the amenities for the rest of the weekend.
They are fantastic amenities, I will confess, but I won't get too stuck into the activities afforded the players here because we've got 70% of a flashpoint left to cast. We do have an overclock available for Nyang on the retake. Pulse for Color Hex as well. You can see Color Hex is giving Yubi a run for his money right now. Forces the recall, but Funny Astro does come in on the side. Clock from Nyang in main. Will he find anything, ZP?
Right now, they're looking. Rack Attack gonna drop the beat here under pressure. Will help support a little bit. Quartz actually a little bit low, but they have to back out from how that was going. They're not able to take the advantage on the Quartz. Funny Astro chasing down Color Hex as if it's personal at the moment. Both teams, though, gonna be losing a Tracer. Funny Astro punished for being a little bit deep and perhaps a little bit hope here for the Guapos, but they're running out of time and Quartz is still alive.
Bad news, Quartz is alive, so Aki's going to fall. Color Hex, he's got the Pulse Bomb that could potentially turn it, but Quartz, he is still a presence on the side.
And here we go, Twisted Minds are looking at the Guapos. They're saying your key is changing form. It's going to be bent, broken, crushed, and destroyed. The Guapos are eliminated, and Twisted Minds will move on.
Making it look easy at the end there, a dominant performance on all 3 maps. Some slight hiccups on Gibraltar, just a flash in the pan, really, as Twisted Minds really showcasing that they were the stronger team here in this series. You can see all smiles, all confidence walking across the stage. You got KSA, we got Funny Astro, we got a couple of fist bumps going around. Color Hex apparently doesn't feel like standing up at the moment. Get out of your chair, Kelsey.
In a flash point, it's over, fellas. I can't. I mean, it's been a quick. I mean, Twisted Minds will be absolutely elated with the 3-0 and the manner of which as well, because it's been quick. They've disassembled the team